Oh, goodness. I'm so sorry, everybody. For some reasons, Streamlabs didn't want Mike Kuhn at all. Okay, anyways. Hi, everybody. How is everyone doing? I'm going to quickly fix the audio while we're talking. Today, we are starting Arc 2 of ReZero. Yay! Thank you so much. Shut the fuck up, everyone. Talking about the scuff. I just demonetized this damn video. Frick. Anyways, hello, everybody. How are you today? Let's say hi to everybody while I fix everything. Hello, Pow. Hello, Lol Trash. Hello, Jojo Smacks. And Y Corral. Auto. 86 Pow. Granny. Dun Sparse. Dunny. We have, let's see, anyone else? Anyone? Belly. Hello, how are you? And we also have Planet and Strip Chicken and Profear. Hello. We have a big old cast today. We are starting Arc 2. A bit smaller cast reading-wise today. And I'm still trying to fix the audio capture so we can hear everybody. Okay, it's already set up. Yay. All right, I'm going to bring on the cast and everybody say hi to them. All right, team, that was a rough start. Citrus, take us away.
Hi. I'm Citrus, or True Red Essence over on Twitch. This is my second week here, and I'm happy to be here.
Yay! Oh, it's me next, isn't it?
Yep.
Kevin! Alright, hello. I am Kyles. I'm your Amelia. I'm fighting everyone to become your Rem today. Hello. It's good to see y'all.
Hello, I am Carmen. I'm a new editor for Reverie, and I'm just happy to be here.
I'm Gojo, and I'm a narrator, and that's about it. I'm Palizard. I'm doing the proofreadings and translations for these. We'll see how smooth they actually go this time.
They're gonna go great. And he's still proofreading while we do the first chapter. So,
Never stop.
going hard.
Hey everybody, I'm Pow, and I'm a sick mod today.
Sticky mod.
Yo, I'm Proof Space. I'm also a new editor, and I'll just be listening in while I work.
Hey y'all, I'm Vivi. I'm Puck, but no Puck today, so probably narrator.
There is Puck today.
There's Puck today?
I'm making sure of it.
Hello everybody, I am Tealdi. I don't think I'm narrating today. There are multiple lady roles. I'll probably do one or more of them. We'll see what happens.
Yay!
Hello everyone, I am the Wolfie boy, the boy who plays Subaru. I'm very excited to play Subaru today. I hope you will have a good time watching.
Why'd you turn German?
I don't. That's a good question. Brit Baru or German Baru? Yeah, Amelia. Hi, Avi. All right, friends, are we ready to split up these roles and get started?
Well, before that, I think I'm going to need a chapter link. I can't find it.
I'll send her over.
Yeah, you moved them into the folders, so the view access is going to be gone from the files.
Sorry.
It's going to be 4 narrators. Subaru, Beatrice, Rom, Rem, Amelia, and Puck.
If you are looking at the chapters to read along, or if any of our VAs are having a hard time switching through channels, I have it in staff general chat for us. You can access it. I have it pinned on the pinned comment on our live. Yeah, you can follow along. First chapter, I believe, is Betty Subaru narrator.
Yeah.
You'd be right.
Mm-hmm.
Haha! Who would like to volunteer as Betty? Betty, I suppose.
You could take that, Tealdi, if you were looking for the femorals.
Yeah, I can do that. Let's see.
Yeah.
So she's little, child voice.
Kiki,
child
channel
voice.
your
Hold
inner
on.
Kiki.
Kiki. Oh boy. Let me see.
She ends.
I suppose I could do it. I suppose.
Perfect. That'll do. That sounds pretty dang good. I like that. And
Okay, I'll try my best.
woohoo! do we have a volunteer for narrator to go first?
Dibs.
There you go.
Easy!
Thank you.
The name change.
I realized like no one wants to do this. No one.
Well, I just took Beatrice, or else I would. But then, I'd have to be reading along, and all of a sudden, I have to change to this real quick. It can be really rough.
Yeah.
I can narrate still if you guys need me to. It's up to you.
Probably have you sub in if I have to leave in case somebody enters my living room.
Oh, okay, that's fair. All right, you can be backup for now, pal, and then maybe we can get you on the next chapter.
Okay.
Yeah, especially we don't want to push you if you're feeling really sickies.
Are my keys coming through the microphone?
No.
No.
Okay.
Alright, let's see. What is this kind of vibe? Alrighty. We're gonna start with, Call of the Witch. It's a little dodgy, but it has been allowed recently, so we're gonna give it a shot today. So if this gets shut down halfway through, you can blame me. Love to see it. All right, when everyone is ready, you can get started.
Arc 2, Chapter 1, The Unfamiliar Ceiling and the Endless Hallway. Subaru's awakening was anything but poor. When he opened his eyes, they were met with a dim white glow that seemed artificial. The glow was somehow coming from the crystals installed on an unfamiliar ceiling. Subaru had a reputation for being good at waking up. Once he woke up, he would stay awake.
The pillow feels different.
He rolled over back and forth, noticing that the feeling under his head was different than usual. What's more, the softness under his head couldn't possibly be from the futon he slept on for so many years. In fact, the floor underneath his futon had become discolored, because he never folded it and put it away after waking up.
And it smells super nice too. It smells like the sun. Well, actually, it smells like the lice that were burned to death in the sun, right?
That was one of the top 3 pieces of trivia he wished he never knew. Subaru savored the supposed smell of dead lice to the fullest, and then sat up. He tilted his head back and looked around the room, which he could instantly tell was meant for the upper class. The bed was roomy enough for about 5 people, and the room around the bed was at least 350 square feet in size.
Using a 20 tatami mat-sized room as a bedroom would be a complete waste of space. But if it's one of many in a mansion, that might not be the case.
Now fully up and awake, Subaru got off the bed and lightly turned himself around to check his current condition. First, he checked his shoulder, then the various joints in his arms and legs, and then his heart strength and endurance by lifting his legs and doing squats. Lastly, while taking a breather, he pulled up the clothes he was wearing to see if he had any wounds from before.
Stomach wound! It's gone! No bruises, of course, and no scar from getting disemboweled either! And 0 stitches. The doctors of this world are excellent! Great! If I had scars, nobody would want me as their bride!
He had also yet to acquire skills like cooking, laundry, sewing, and other household chores.
The ad shows I'm pretty tough and eat well. Come on, isn't there any rich official or minister who would take me home as a bride? Sorry, but I would never, even if...
Just as he had initially thought, the room was very simple. In addition to the bed, there was a houseplant by the window, some furniture, and painting on the walls. Subaru wasn't sure if it existed in this world, but he couldn't find a clock anywhere, or anything that looked like a clock. And he couldn't find anything that looked like a calendar either.
The question is, how long was I unconscious? Maybe 5 hours?
Subaru touched his chin and measured the approximate time elapsed by the feel of his stubble. It was his secret technique that allowed him to check the time accurately without a clock. From the feel of his stubble clock, from the feel of his stubble clock, it had been roughly 5 or 6 hours since he had last checked. In other words, it would be around the time his first day in another world was almost at an end. thinking that, Subaru once again touched his belly.
Then, does that mean I avoided activating Return by Death this time?
That was the question he had been trying to avoid thinking about ever since waking up, but ultimately finally decided to face the reality that he couldn't look away from.
First, I died in foolishly. The second time, I died bravely. The third time, I died like a dog. And the fourth time, I died from a stray attack after getting thrown into a death battle. It's what I would be saying if I actually died. Whoop! What a relief! If I were to die like that again, I'd be on track to becoming a mob in no time.
Up to the point of losing consciousness, Subaru recalled the events leading up to each death. He felt it was a little charming that each and every one of his deaths were so similar. Subaru was sat cross-legged in contemplation atop the sheets and comforter. He had crumbled them up in a heap on the bed, which he felt was too large and uncomfortable. There was no doubt that this was different from the sight of the usual restart point, since he had managed to avoid returning by death. There was a 1 in a million chance that this was the home of the green-haired seller of the fruit that he had always reset back to. But he only was really considering one thing.
It's either Reinhardt's house or Emiliatan's house.
They were the only two people who were friendly to Subaru and gave the impression that they might own a large mansion like this. It may have been wishful thinking, but Subaru thought it was the latter of the two. The treatment of his abdominal wound, this was probably due to Emilia's magic. If the treatment had not been carried out immediately on the spot, Subaru's dead end would have been difficult to avoid, and above all, his boy's brain would wanted to believe that he had been healed by a beautiful girl.
It'd be fine if that Chad had healed me, but a guy can fantasize, can't he? This is a fantasy world after all!
He poked the sheets with an effeminate gesture and did a simple expression of her healing him, before suddenly springing off the bed and landing on the floor.
Now, I'd like to figure out where I am. Then, it's the beginning of a new adventure! Come on, me! What's the matter with you? Finding it troublesome before it even gets exciting? Are you reverting back to being a lazy shut-in? Do you want to go back to just eating dinner, playing video games, watching anime, posting and reading threads online, and go to sleep whenever you felt like it? Go back.
It wasn't like Subaru had any real desire to have been summoned to another world. Firstly, he wasn't exactly dissatisfied with the life of a lazy shut-in. It's just that he never thought that the days that passed by were boring or wasted. And to be able to sleep as long as he wanted was a pretty neat life.
Well, I do feel a little bad for my parents having to deal with me. But it's almost like they just let me do whatever I wanted without getting in the way.
He exercised, ate meals with his family at the table, went out like it was no big deal, and he even had an allowance. Aside from not attending school, Subaru's life wasn't missing much, so it would perhaps be better to call Subaru a dropout rather than a shut-in.
That's shocking. If I didn't have the opportunity to look back at myself in another world, maybe I wouldn't have ever realised that I wasn't a real shut-in. No way! Don't tell me that's why I was summoned!
Subaru firmly decided that he would be careful about self-proclaimed titles in the future. He wouldn't want to casually refer to himself as a shut-in and have to deal with the anger of the World Shut-In Association, or whatever it was called.
I suppose all the members of the association would also be shut-ins. And if that's the case, then how in the world do they all cooperate with each other?
His thoughts kept going in circles as each answer only invited more questions. Subaru shook his head, proclaimed that it didn't matter, and tossed away the long-winded conclusion of his ponderings. Then, he stealthily moved towards the door. Ideally, it would have been preferable for Subaru to have an encounter occur with someone who had come to see him while he was killing time. Someone who would also be able to provide an explanation of the current situation.
Or, I could have woken up and heard, "Are you awake?" from a beautiful girl sitting by my bedside who had nursed me back to health. I mean, isn't that how it usually goes? If you were summoned and the beautiful girl who summoned you isn't by your side, that's a little too glaring of a flaw in this whole summoning thing.
In any case, what he should consider was that, for the time being, as promised by the common cliches of otherworld fantasy, the people he had met had all been beautiful. So far, there were only 5 named characters who he was acquainted with. Tonshinkan couldn't be counted since they were just uninteresting mobs. And another one was an old man with a wrinkled face.
But then, Felt looked like she could shine with a bit of polish. No need to even mention Amelia Tan and Reinhard. Elsa is... Oh, wow. My fingertips are starting to shake just thinking about her.
Subaru's trauma gauge had shot up, so he had concluded that she should be excluded from the list. He could admit that she was beautiful in appearance, but since it was her addiction to killing and acts of disemboweling people that were being added to her, he couldn't definitively call contradictions in attitude and looks cute. Thus, he couldn't think of her and say, "That's the Gatmoe."
Okay! Now that I've figured all that out, I'm gonna stop procrastinating and start my adventure! Starting something new is actually super exciting!
After he casually whispered that, Subaru carefully turned the doorknob and opened the door. The chilly air from the outside flowed into the room and crept over his bare feet, causing him to gasp.
Ah!
Outside the room was a long hallway painted in warm colors. The hall had continued for a long way in both directions, and you could see similar doors dotted on the walls along the way. More than likely, each door led to a room similar to the room Subaru had slept in.
With this many rooms the size of 20 tatami mats, this must be even more of a luxurious mansion than I imagined.
He couldn't help but think of the status of the owner of this mansion, and then he cleared his throat.
The only thing I can say is, wow! It's either really long or super huge. But with all this space, where is everyone?
Walking barefoot down the hallway with floors made of smooth, polished material, similar to the floor of his school, Subaru couldn't help but furrow his eyebrows at the silence. While feeling people's presence was usually just a metaphor, it typically meant the sounds of daily life. But Subaru couldn't hear or feel anyone.
This is even quieter than the bedroom. Almost too quiet. To the point where I'm afraid of making a sound.
Normally, he'd be shouting, "Is anyone here?" It was in his nature to do as much as he could in whatever circumstances he found himself. But under the current circumstances, it didn't feel safe to do so. At any rate, Subaru didn't have a shred of understanding of his current situation at this point in time. He had been sure that he was in the home of someone who liked him, but it wasn't unreasonable to assume that after he lost consciousness, Elsa may have organized a large army consisting of 100,000 men to get revenge, and captured him while he was asleep. If that were the case, it was Elsa's side that captured Subaru, and the mansion would quickly change from a good-natured millionaire's mansion to the hideout of a group of assassins.
Maybe I should just wait for something to happen after all. I should just go back to my room right now and offer a prayer to God while trembling on my knees.
While looking at the furnishings that also adorned the hallway, Subaru hummed nervously as he began to plan his escape. The paintings on display were more like the landscapes in the room, but many of the paintings in the hallway were quirky and abstract. As Subaru looked at the geometric patterns, he thought to himself,
So the brushstrokes went this way and that way.
as if he were a know-it-all.
Well, I'm not going to let the flag slip away because of that weak-ass thinking. I've already decided on a course of action, as if I swore an oath. I don't remember making an oath, or who I made an oath to, but I'll keep that in the back of my mind and act on it.
Erasing the option to go back, Subaru walked off with the goal of finding people for now. Right or left, without much hesitation, he chose the right. This was because he remembered seeing a conversation in a manga that said, "There are many traps on the left, he," which was reason enough. The distinction between right and left changed depending on which room you left, but Subaru only realized that after walking for a while, so he just went along with it anyway.
Oh well, everything looks alike. I still can't see any sign of anyone.
He hadn't even reached the end of the hallway yet or seen a place to turn into. After another 5 doors, Subaru was baffled. There would be a limit to how long it could be. A minute or two might not sound like a long time, but the distance he traveled in the time was easily 300 meters. That wasn't normal. How could there be a hallway that went on for over 1,000 feet without being able to see the end? Scratching his head, Subaru casually looked back. He decided that the worst thing that could happen is that he would have to return to the room he came from.
Huh?
Subaru strained his neck further, looking behind him in confusion. The cause of that was that he couldn't see the end of the path he had just walked.
Wait, didn't I already see this painting when I first left the room?
He was pretty sure he remembered joking about the brushwork or something like that. It was possible that they had the exact same artwork on display. But it would be in bad taste to display the same artwork outside of every room.
So, in other words, I mean to put it more bluntly, I'm in an infinite loop.
Perhaps it just felt like he had moved down a hallway to some extent and was simply transitioning to the other side of the map. Or there was a moving floor contraption that subverted the cliches of otherworld fantasy and operated so casually that Subaru didn't notice it.
With the whole moving floor thing, it's totally gonna screw up the spirit of the time period. Since Return My Death is already part of the story, does that mean it has an affinity for looping things, perhaps?
After speaking cleverly to no one in particular, Subaru opened the door to the nearest room. It was a simple 350 square foot room with a bed and basic furniture inside. In other words, the very room where Subaru had come from.
So what? It's useless to move around and I'm supposed to just quietly stay put?
In order to prevent Subaru from walking off, had they done this to restrict where he could go? He felt that this was a total waste of time and magic, but it may be that they had a plan to deprive him of the will to resist them by showing the difference in power.
Well, now that I have a basic understanding of what this thing is, it's really a clever way to sap my spirit, huh? There is no right reason why I wouldn't be shocked by the creation of such a mysterious pace if I think about it in a normal way.
He stretched his arms, his legs, and his hips while he hummed. Then he put his hands on the wall to firmly loosen his Achilles tendons, successfully warming up his muscles for his upcoming actions.
Normally I'd just jump into bed like, hey, I'm just gonna chill until someone comes along. But not this time! If they think this is enough to make me give up, they're in for a big surprise!
He crouched in the middle of the hallway and assumed a starting position.
As expected after sleeping for half a day, I'm full of energy! Okay, ready, get set, go!
After a not-so-cool boast of his amazing amount of energy from his rest, Subaru started running as fast as he could. He definitely wasn't as fast as Felt, and frankly, he felt that even Old Man Rom would give him a run for his money. His stamina wasn't anything special, and his 100-meter dash was so disappointing that he got out of breath at the 70-meter mark. But in this moment at least, he felt like he sprint as long as it took.
Run, run, run!
He kept thinking this to push himself forward. The end of the hallway was still out of sight, and he kept returning to the same starting point no matter how much he ran. It was like this hall was mocking his determination and telling him, resistance is futile. However, Subaru did not stop running. He kept going as if to show with his attitude that the only thing an ordinary man could do was to keep running on straight, over and over again. Subaru didn't care if the hallway was just a forgotten, unused place in the mansion, or that it was a stranger's mansion, or they had just been disemboweled half a day ago, or that he felt like he needed to take care of a little business sooner or later.
No! That last one isn't good! That's not good! Oh man! I'm suddenly having a raging urge to pee! It's a small urge, and then a big one right after!
The Subaru's male parts began to squeal and the dashing form of Olympic sprinter from earlier was devolved into one resembling a seductive woman's running pose, in which his upper body swayed as he squeezed his inner thighs together. However, such trivial differences in Subaru's running style did not stop the world from mocking his efforts. The repetition of this maliciousness eventually slowed down Subaru's speed. His shoulders shook loudly, and he breathed roughly. A lonely battle with even sweat on his forehead, and unable to gain anything from it, Subaru squatted down on the spot. I give up. I have no choice but to do it here. He threw everything away and put his hands on the garment that protected his lower abdomen. One could say that his dignity as a human being was about to be lost. Not being able to go to the bathroom in a proper place made him feel no better than a dog or a cat. But he could accept that abuse of comparison. It wouldn't break his heart.
Besides, I've discovered I have a new kink that kind of abuse might feel kind of good.
As he said that, he had a refreshing smile on his face for the first time since being summoned to another world. He squatted down in the hallway. At least he pulled over to the edge of the hallway. The last remaining signs of reason he had left.
Natsuki Subaru, ready to... Huh?
Just as he was about to say ready to go, a change occurred in front of Subaru's eyes. The image of the hallway, which he had remained the same no matter how much he ran, suddenly distorted in Subaru's vision. The transformation of the world occurring in front of his eyes was akin to a crumpling piece of paper, and then stretching it back out. Subaru blinked as if to confirm it was actually happening after the wrinkles had been fully stretched, and then stood up, holding back the urge to urinate.
I don't really understand it, but seems to turn out alright in the end, huh?
When he looked at his surroundings again, he could see that the world had changed. He could clearly see the end of the hallway in addition to other hallways he could turn into. The abstract painting Subaru had seen many times was in front of him, and the room he had woken up in was right in front of the painting. Subaru was sure he had returned to his starting point, and it seemed to have broken out of the loop as well. He wasn't entirely sure what caused this to happen, but he had his suspicions.
So, it's essentially because I tried to go to the bathroom in the hallway? That's a complicated flag. It's the kind of thing you wouldn't notice normally. Whoever thought of it? I'm sure they're Oniific.
Oniific was a modified version of Deific that had just popped into Subaru's head.
Well, now that I've escaped the loop, why don't I just go back to the room and go to sleep?
Scratching the back of his head, Subaru looked at the first door. However, a sudden chill swept through the hallway as he did so. It wasn't like it conveyed any words, but the feelings put into it were rather straightforward. It was as if someone was facepalming somewhere.
Whoever it is, I know someone's out there telling me to go back! Yeah, okay, I'll go!
After throwing an angry yell at it because of the endless loop, Subaru began walking once again. It would have been possible to just do his business there. But that would not advance the event, and finding a bathroom was what mattered the most right now.
I mean, I have to go on for my dignity. They've pretty much got it figured out too. They know I'm right, and they can't back down!
With a determined look on his face, he affirmed his intentions. Yes, Subaru would keep fighting on because of his urge to pee. Although the loop had ended, the hallway was still wrapped in a strange atmosphere as if saying it wasn't over yet. Subaru felt that sensation was somewhat similar to the feeling he had when he saw Amelia use magic. This was only a guess from someone inexperienced with magic, but the hallway seemed to be completely filled with it. Unlike when he was dealing with the endless loop, it wasn't even trying to be hidden this time. The magic user must have been quite confident in their abilities, to the extent that they could set up their evil schemes and confidently say, "Come on in, there's a trap in here."
It's not safe to proceed in the dark, or so they say. But being too cautious isn't the same as being a coward. And above all, I have a time limit.
The tide within him had receded quite a bit now, but it was no secret that it would eventually return as a massive wave. Gulping and wiping the sweat from his forehead, Subaru took the first step with determination. He moved to the nearest door that was in front of him and twisted the doorknob.
The hallway is always full of traps. After breaking the loop. In a typical dungeon event like this, surprisingly enough, the first door is always the best choice.
With that intuitive guess, he opened the door.
What a deeply offensive boy you are, I suppose.
He received a resentful look from a drill-haired girl staring at him in an unfamiliar library.
And that was the end of chapter 1. That was a wild chapter. Good job, everybody. How do you feel after that? Where's your dignity at?
I feel violated.
You should have seen him wince as he read that. It was so funny.
Oh no.
I did not expect that.
No, neither did I. I can see why this was cut too. As I commented at the top of that chapter, 4 pages of the light novel in less than 63 seconds in the anime.
Hmm.
Pain. My tongue. I kept getting tongue-tied, probably because of how long it was.
Oh, you did
Yeah.
great though, Gojo.
Oh, Gojo, you did great. Trust me, I was trying to get tongue-tied by the end. I was struggling. There'd
Yeah,
be
me
lots of
too.
Subaru dialogue.
I think
A lot of cringy Subaru dialogue. That was painful.
Yeah.
I was hurting the entire time, trust me.
Arc 2 is so much different from 5. Holy moly. Just like, he is something else. I'm excited for the next chapter.
Problems in Arc 5 be like, we have to deal with a terrorist attack. Problem in Arc 2, I have to pee.
Yup.
Literally was a pissing arc. Are you freaking kidding me?
That's badass.
Half of this was dedicated to the need to use the bathroom. What the hell?
The worst thing is, just imagining myself actually in a situation like that where I can't get to the bathroom and I'm desperate to go to the loo, and I'm like running in a loop of a hallway. Sounds like the most miserable experience on planet Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate how much enjoyment Subaru gets out of it. There's a
Yeah.
line, I'm not gonna repeat it. I hate
Oh,
that
yeah.
line.
Oh!
Age restricted. Damn it.
Like I knew Subaru was weirder, and was not expecting that out of left field. If I'm being quite honest.
In fairness, it's not
Subaru.
entirely out of left field, because early on in Arc 1, in his very first loop, he makes the point of, have I just discovered that I have like a little bit of masochist tendencies?
I feel like the jump from masochist to this is pretty big.
Is that literally to pay just making fun of Subaru and the fact that he just suffers?
He switches around between a lot of them. Later on, when he's either dominating Felt in the conversation or actually winning against Elsa, he starts to think that he has this sadist side of that instead, and thinks that I'm just discovering all sorts of things about myself here.
that. Yeah.
Knee flip-flops.
Why is this a running joke?
Hmm.
Wait, what?
How did the actual VA for Amelia get to meet Oh my! Your girl ain't the VA for Amelia. I might be Amelia online. I ain't Kaylee Mills. Kaylee Mills professional as hell. I'm just your local ship poster. That's too kind. I'm just very good at
debatable.
imitations. We have not
Yeah,
been
she's
in the same...
Kaylee. This is Kyle's, not Kaylee's.
Kyle's. My name is Kylie, yes, but I am not Kaylee. And my last name does not begin with an M, so there you go. Thank you, that's so kind of you. I was conscripted by this group, actually, so... and then I took over.
It was a coup.
I made a coup.
But a peaceful one.
A very
A peaceful transition of power.
I just kind of took it. Thank you. A present.
A gift.
A gift I've tried to throw back at people too many times, but hey, I'm here now. Now I'm finally dedicated. Mwah. It just took a hot minute, sorry.
It's okay, buddy.
Oh, is that Super in the chat?
Maybe.
Super Injustice, no. Super is Super Purchu. Super
Ah.
just came back from Hong Kong, but he's traveling the world right now with family and friends. He should be back
Nice.
next month.
Imagine being cool.
Hey, nice.
Imagine being cool.
You will not be getting that in any of these chapters. If you're trying to imagine to be cool.
Yeah, I've very much got. I got the impression.
This is not the cool arc.
Very much got the impression that Arc 5 and Arc 6 version of Subaru is a lot more gratifying to play in terms of my image.
Get to keep your dignity, whatever's left of it.
No, he literally said that he's throwing it away in this chapter.
Subaru
Yeah,
gave
he
up.
did.
Subaru
He
literally
did.
gave up. He was like, right, it's my time. I have to. And then Beatrice was almost certainly panicking while watching these events transpire. It's like,
Oh my gosh, don't you dare! Don't you dare!
Oh, you'll get from her here in a second. Don't
It's
worry.
like ready with the spray bottle of the dog's like, no, no!
I'm actually kind of curious how this problem resolves itself, or the
Is there
Tape's
going to
just
be an
being
if
ignored.
story where Subaru does do it and it sets off a chain of events that ruins things?
That's the real lust if.
No!
Ayo,
Dear
ayo.
God, no!
Get out of here!
And at the very end, he gets a bill for cleaning the carpet, and he's like, oh, this will I'll never financially recover from this.
I'm ruined! Cleaning and repairing the infinitely long carpet of the hallway.
Oh God.
Alright, so next one is going to be mostly Subaru and Beatrice, as well as Rem, Rom, and Amelia.
The whole gang.
Well, what would you like? Who would you like to be, Citrus? Out of the three, we'll leave Tealdi as Betty. She's doing great.
Perfect job.
Yay!
I mean, I know that we talked about being Rem, but I know that you want to be Rem. I could be Rom if you want.
Ooh, she.
That's
I'm mad about that. Anybody else want to play Amelia or Rem? 'Cause I also don't mind doing both of them. I am Amelia and Rem actually, so it works out. But I'm willing.
I
to
can take Rom if someone wants one of the other two better.
Then I'll take Rem and you can take Rom. That'd be fun.
I was going to like try to jump in for Rom, but like I am so into hearing you, Palazard.
All right, I'll stay Amelia then. I'll be good old Amelia.
Oh, let me change my name.
Your time will come.
One
Sooner or
day.
later.
This is like my favorite part. Sister, sister, a weird man is staring at us.
Yeah, that's just a quick little fun thing about that before we jump into this. Going through the Japanese version of the web novel, as much as he possibly could, Tappei matched the number of characters in every one of their sentences to each other,
What?
while still
That's
changing the way
fun.
that they said things.
Oh,
Damn.
I started to attempt to just do that with syllables, but it grew just too difficult, and so I just kept the meanings the
Yeah.
same.
That's fun to know.
I'm so excited to play more Subaru.
It will get better over the course of several hours.
It's a nice break from Liliana, though.
This
We are
is
missing
a
a
valid
narrator then.
point. You make a valid point.
Who would like to be?
this arc is kind of like Subaru's awkward, like middle school, just on the edge of puberty arc.
I was.
There are growing
Yeah.
pains, and it will be uncomfortable, but it'll be better afterwards.
I was
Lots
shocked
of
that the
growing
word
pains.
Shunibyo has not come up in this chapter, in these chapters at all yet.
The
He
heck?
has to go from being terminally online to terminally traumatized.
Yeah.
Ayo.
There is no in between one or the other.
Nope.
Yes.
Pow, did you still want to narrate, or you're not feeling too good?
I could give it a shot.
All right. Works for me. If your voice dies at any point, just message. I'll take over. I don't mind.
Oh, you have so much work though.
Oh, this is
I
nothing.
can take over.
Oh yes, thank you, Vivi. Yeah. Don't worry. I am narrator. What's the other one? Narrator Amelia. Capella.
Petra.
And it's Petra, but thankfully not on this one. Oh, Schultz for the next chapters. Don't worry. It's not.
You were
Oh,
wrong
yeah.
for one chapter in Arc 5 as well.
I was. I am technically our Ram. I actually got cast as that because I sent in extra lines. Should have never done that.
That'll teach you to go above and beyond.
You're taking the low road.
I really did.
For real.
In this economy, you worked harder, now get punished for it.
Here's the studio.
To the chat, if you are reading along with us at all, anytime I worded the words in bold, That is Subaru speaking those in English.
Oh.
Damn.
Oh, so it's gonna be extra chavvy.
Charvy.
There's gonna be a lot.
Charvy, eh?
Chavvy?
Chavy. Well done. You did it.
Chavvy, mate.
No, yeah, that's kind of an identical exchange in the next chapters.
Right. Time to prepare my chav in it.
Oh no.
Oh, man.
Innit?
It was have him do that, or I could write it out to sound like English.
Mm.
And then we can get in trouble.
And then I will get cancelled.
Yeah.
Poor
I
Bill.
like being more British.
Jojo did not age well.
Or real though.
Oh no. Not my JoJo. Alright. Narrator Kun, you ready?
Oh yeah, let me change my name real quick.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Also, do we have the chapter 2 doc somewhere?
Oh yes, it's in that I sent 2 links in the staff chat. It's been buried. I'll send the next one.
It's 1 and 3.
What?
In proofread chapters, the Google Drive takes you to the folders for chapter 1 and 2.
Yeah, I completely forgot I watched you do it earlier. I was laughing at you and I forgot to mention it. I forgot!
Thank you, Cameron. Thank you.
Like I meant to, and then I didn't.
It was too funny, okay?
Let me suffer, damn it.
Is 4 in that folder, everyone?
It is.
Let me.
Okay.
Is everybody ready?
We do a bit of trolling.
Indeed. I suppose.
Okay. Arc 2, Chapter 2, The Keeper of the Forbidden Library and the Twin Maids. It was a room that basically screamed library at you. The room was twice as large as the 350 square foot room, and there were bookcases set up all over the place, going from one corner of the room to the other. Every bookcase was so tightly packed with books that it was hard to imagine how many books it truly held. Books took up a lot of space and were heavy, so it was a problem to have so many. In Subaru's case, his whole family loved to read manga, and there used to be a room on the second floor of his house that was filled to the brim with books, especially manga. One day, without any warning, the floor fell through. A disastrous renovation. Fortunately, no one was injured, and Subaru's family had since put them all in a dedicated manga storage warehouse, so they would never experience that kind of catastrophe again. Even for Subaru, who had such an experience involving books, the number of books in his room exceeded the number of books in his house when the floors fell through. Of course, the structure of the mansion itself was much sturdier than that of his house. Finding even one book to read, that Subaru could understand, would be a tall order for him considering the enormous amount of books in his view.
With so many books here, there must be one that I can read, right? Was that too much to ask?
A quick glance around the library revealed that there were no spine covers written in Japanese. There were no alphabets here as far as he knew, and most of the letters were characters based on what he'd seen on the signboards while walking around the capital. There were the commonly used characters of this world, after all. Oh, sorry. If Subaru wanted to live in this world, it was going to be essential to learn it. For him, who had even dropped his language classes in middle school, it already felt like such a drag. Subaru sighed while envisioning his coming difficulties.
People's bookshelves, and even sighing as you do so. You came wanting a fight, I suppose. Shall I give it to you?
I'm really not good at talking to people I've never met before without any preparation. So, I'm gonna have to head out for a sec. Sorry. I'll be right back for take 2!
After he raised his hand to the little girl who stared at him with her unmoving eyes, Subaru casually walked out of the room. Then, after a few moments, he opened the door, re-entered the room, and looked at the little girl who hadn't moved an inch from where she had been standing.
Oh! Found somebody! Hello! Nice to meet you! Can I talk to you for a minute?
You are fun of Betty, in fact. For trespassing in the library, you deserve to be punished, I suppose.
The little girl laughed adorably and cruelly at Subaru as he tried to start their encounter over from a better starting point. She was a beautiful, sweet girl. How many times had he thought that in this other world? She appeared to be younger than Felt, perhaps 11 or 12 years old. She was wearing an indigo-colored dress with lots of frills and had a lovely face that suited her ornate hairstyle and clothes. Her hair was the closest to the color of cream and was grown long and rolled into curls. It looked like drills. The little girl's appearance seemed to be the embodiment of the word pretty. The cuteness level was so high that one's heart couldn't help but melt if she were to smile. Now she was standing in front of Subaru with a stern face.
You're gonna ruin your cute face if you keep it pinched. Come on, just smile, smile!
Being cute is simply a given, in fact. A better thing to consider would be, what should Betty do with you, I suppose?
I don't like any answer to that question. Look, I'm sorry I ignored your attentions out there. I'm the type of guy who guesses correctly the first time to puzzles like that, even though the GM would want me to go through all the events he prepared for me.
A talent for pulling off the correct answer in a situation where there were 4 choices and only a total of 4 hints were available. People also called that not being able to read the mood. In the past, there had been many events that Subaru had subconsciously crushed in that way. The endless loop earlier could be added to that list of events.
In the hallway of someone else's house, coming here without even crossing the hallway with lots of mana-sensing traps? There's only one way to describe you. The worst, in fact.
I'm the type of guy who doesn't stop for anything, even RPGs. That's why I'm so busy collecting sub-events the second week.
If it was a visual novel game, he would often go straight for the main heroine. And though he enjoyed collecting special illustrations, he wouldn't necessarily collect all of them if there were too many side quests to do. Leaving those off-topic thoughts aside, Subaru said, well, and looked at the little girl once again. From what she had said earlier, it was safe to assume that she was the culprit behind the endless loop in the hallway. After that, it seemed that the hallway was also set up with various surprise events that prevented Subaru from finding a bathroom. However, he managed to skip all of those events in the end.
I get it, you want to show off your power, but messing with someone's bodily needs for that purpose is not funny. It almost killed me socially. I shudder just thinking about it.
Sight, it would have been better if you had just continued going around in circles, in fact. That would have saved Betty at least half the humiliation, I suppose.
Yeah, that's right, Betty. Well, now I've stepped in here, that means that I was just better than you. And I'm not much of a sore loser as you, either.
Subaru felt a sense of urgency due to the toilet talk, which caused him to start tapping his feet anxiously. The little girl tiredly put her fingers on her own eyebrows.
Quite tiresome, in fact. Roswell lets that girl do whatever she pleases. Now Betty has to deal with this ignorant guy. He will pay for this later, in fact.
You're tired? But you're so young! Children should play outside in the sun! Wrinkling your eyebrows together is so boring! Come on, come on! Live strong!
Subaru gave her a thumbs up. The catchphrase "Live Strong" was Subaru's first heard in the slums of the capital. At first, he wasn't sure about how he felt about it, but as he said it, he felt it cheered him up. The little girl stared at Subaru, who was steadily growing to like the phrase, with half-lidded eyes. Subaru responded to her gaze with a shy smile and then stuck out his tongue.
See, in fact. That was a weird reaction. You're creepy, in fact.
It's hurtful to be reduced to that! Having said that, can we get to the point? If I get sidetracked too much, my bladder will be in a pinch.
Understand what the second half of that meant? But we'll cut to the chase for Betty's sake, in fact.
Okie dokie, so...
Subaru was about to ask where the bathroom was, but he was getting the impression that she would use that to her advantage in order to tease him, so he restrained himself and kept his mouth shut. No matter how he looked at things, the little girl in front of him had to be some class of wizard. It was pretty obvious based on how well the looping hallway trick went, and there was a good chance that he wouldn't be a match for her. Not to mention, Subaru was extremely hungry right now, on top of recovering from life-threatening injuries, and his fighting power was declining, especially after all the sprinting and running he did earlier. He felt a great deal of anxiety about his physical strength. He knew that his wounds were healing, but he was low on blood as well, which was a bit dangerous.
I want to start with liver. A heaping serving of pork liver and garlic chives to replenish my blood. Tonight, I'm the one who's hungry for blood, not Katetsu. Here!
Boy, he's already distracted again, in fact.
Oh, sorry. I'm gonna cut to the chase. Let's see. What is this place anyway?
After all, it was good to gather information while the other party was honestly willing to discuss it. While thanking the girl for her patience and understanding, Subaru decided to ask a few questions. First of all, Subaru wanted to confirm where he currently was. He didn't think he had been captured by Elsa now, but he couldn't necessarily claim that as a fact yet. He was hoping to get an answer from her concerning that issue. However, her response was less than helpful.
Betty's bedroom, in fact.
Ah! Giving a literal answer right away. Oh, kids these days. They think that answering a question at face value is the way to do it. That's the problem with them.
Get for teasing, in fact.
That clearly upset the little girl, who called herself Betty, but he wondered if that was her real name. It seemed more like a nickname. The girl puffed out her cheeks at Subaru, who was struggling with his emotions. She crossed her arms and shook her glittering dress as she approached him.
Betty has reached her limit, in fact. You need to be taught a lesson, I suppose.
Hey! Abusing prisoners is barbaric. Don't do it. I'm just a normal guy who has to endure the urge to pee. And that makes me less dangerous than the average person.
Makes you more dangerous due to your desperation, in fact.
Shit! That was a good comeback. Oh no! I can't think of a single thing to do to prove that I'm not a bad guy. I yield! I'm not a bad guy!
She shook her head in small increments, a determined appeal that made her eyes moisten as she lowered her head as far as she could. But the girl's steps, instead of slackening, increased in speed.
Stay still, in fact.
Shiver ran down Subaru's spine as he heard those words. Suddenly, the smell of old paper that had dominated the library disappeared, and the pain he felt was as if ice had been thrust into his nose. Subaru's skin turned to the color of ash, and he could hear a distant high-pitched ringing in his ears. The reason why he couldn't smell anything was so his other senses could be strengthened, in this case, sight and touch. His 5 senses had been cut down to those 2 senses only. In front of Subaru's eyes, the little girl was already close enough to reach him. The difference in height was obvious. The little girl stood as tall as Subaru's chest, and her shallow blue eyes were looking up at him. Her pale pink lips formed a smile, and the little girl's innocence was the only thing that kept Subaru's alarm bells ringing.
Anything left you want to say?
The little girl tilted her head back and asked Subaru, his eyes wide and his lips quivering. Sweat trickled down his forehead and down his cheeks, and then sensation broke his rigidity for just a few moments, and Subaru searched for the best word to say in the moment he was allowed. That's it. The one thing that he could that should be uttered right here. The one thing to say that would break the current situation.
This is going to hurt, right?
It's impressive that you can be so lighthearted in this situation, in fact. Whether it hurts or not is up to you, I suppose.
Saying that in a seriously impressed tone, the little girl's hand reached for Subaru's chest. A palm met his chest and gently stroked its surface. There was a tickly sensation running up his spine like a chill.
Ow!
In the next moment, Subaru felt as if his entire body was on fire. Something terrible raged inside the body, burning everything from his fingertips to his hair. It was as if her fingertips were wrapped in flames and moving all across his body. It was an extremely painful sensation for him to endure. Subaru's vision flickered, and the next thing he knew, he was on his knees with tears running down his face. His breath was ragged, as if he had been running for miles, and his whole body was sluggish and achy as the day after he had done a reckless muscle workout. Most of all, he felt exhausted. like all of the mental stuff had been dragged out of him.
It looks like you didn't pass out. I had heard that you're quite sturdy, in fact.
What the hell did you do to me, you drill lolly?
I requested out some of the mana from inside your body, in fact. Even though you're just a normal guy, it seems you have a weirdly shaped soul, I suppose. Your gate also seems to be closed.
Muttering to herself, the little girl kneeled down in front of the crumpled Subaru. Subaru struggled to support his upper body as if she poked her fingers at him while he was trying to get up.
Well, I've been able to confirm that you don't have any hostile intentions, in fact. Besides, the mana collected will serve as compensation for all the rudeness shown to Betty thus far, I suppose.
Poked him again, causing him to reach his limit. His upper body fell to the floor, unable to support himself with his trembling arms. This was the third time Subaru had kissed the ground while prone. This wasn't even the first time his lips had kissed the ground, but he thought it was the first kiss he's had in the redone world. Gathering up all the extra energy in his body between his silly thoughts, Subaru somehow managed to lift his face off the floor. Slowly over time, he managed to look up at the girl's face. As the little girl watched Subaru's efforts, she loosened the corners of her mouth in amusement. Subaru peeled his teeth at such a smile and laughed.
You're not human, are you? And I'm not talking about your personality.
Even though you've met Bubby, you didn't realize that until it was too late, in fact.
Her words made her sound even younger than she looked, which in turn gave him the impression of a little girl cruelly playing with the wings of a butterfly. The fact that she was enjoying watching Subaru crawl along the floor drooling only served to reinforce his current impression of her.
Correction. Your personality isn't human either.
You don't measure a noble and sublime being by your standards, in fact, human.
It was a statement said in far too cruel a tone for a little girl to utter. Somehow, Subaru felt something smoldering in his chest. However, although he felt it, he had no longer had enough energy left to act on it. No matter what he did, he was being dragged into the darkness.
Come on! I just woke up and I'm being rendered unconscious again!
The other will be told about your need, in fact. It would be troublesome if you started leaking here, I suppose.
What if I just let it out all now? No, I don't have enough guts to do that.
Unable to speak with his unruly mouth, Subaru fell unconscious again.
Ah, he is awake, sister.
Yes, he is awake, Rem.
To Subaru, the sensation of waking up from sleep was the same as the sensation of coming out of the water. This time, he awoke to the voices of two girls who sounded similar. Based on how well he slept, he assumed he was in the same soft, comfortable bed as before. As he awoke, his eyelids burned from the sunlight shining through the curtain. The intensity of the light was soft, so he assumed it was morning.
Don't know what time it is when you're on the road. Then why not try out my handy-dandy stubble clock?
He gave a sales pitch to no one in particular and checked the time while waking himself up. When Subaru touched the stubble clock on his chin, it felt like it had been 4 or 5 hours since he'd woken up last. He could still feel some slight sluggishness in his body.
It is 7 o'clock bright sun now, dear guest.
It is almost 7 o'clock bright sun, dear guest.
Perhaps it was because Subaru stared at the window and showed the action to check the time, but the voices kindly answered the question. 7 o'clock bright sun. Subaru didn't even know what that meant, but he guessed it was 7 o'clock in the morning, judging by the wording. Besides, he didn't know if the time in this world ran on a 24-hour system. It was difficult to easily determine that it was 7 o'clock in the morning, but if he didn't count the first time he woke up.
So, I pretty much slept through the whole day, huh? Well, that's not much of a surprise to me, as someone who has once slept for 52 hours straight.
Truly the words of a good-for-nothing. Did you hear that, sister?
Really the words of a deadbeat. I heard him, Rem.
All right! Who are you two who keep criticizing me and Stereo Sisters?
With a thud, Subaru bounced off the covers and got up. The sudden action surprised the girls, who were standing on opposite sides of the bed with Subaru between them. The girls jolted away from the bed, moved to the middle of the room, and looked at him hand in hand with each other. Although he had expected this to some extent, the girls looking at Subaru with their fingers intertwined were exactly the same. Twins. They were around 5 feet tall, and they had large eyes, pink lips, and shallow faces that made them seem young and lovely. The two girls who had matching faces both had their hair cut short, but in different colors. One was pink, and the other was light blue. Furthermore, they each covered one eye with their hair, but the pink-haired girl covered her left eye, and the light blue-haired girl covered her right eye. However, such differences were only trivial. At this moment, the thing that stirred Subaru's heart the most was something else.
No way. Do you mean that maid outfits exist in this world?
Black apron dress with a white prim on top of their heads, the beautiful twin girls were dressed in the orthodox, classic style of maid clothing.
They are the embodiments of the ideal maid.
It's terrible. I'm currently being indecently humiliated in our dear guest's head, sister.
It is terrible. I'm being violated right now in the head of our dear guest, Rem.
Don't underestimate my mental capacity. You're both fodder for my fantasies, sisters.
Subaru held his arms out and ruffled his fingers in the air. The meaningless movement brought a shiver to the faces of the two maids, and they untied their intertwined fingers and pointed at each other.
I beg your pardon, dear guest. Let Rem go and go violate sister.
Don't do that, dear guest. You can let Rom go and humiliate Rem.
What kind of sisterhood is that? Selling each other out and then making me look like some kind of evil villain?
The twins ran away, holding hands again.
Ah!
Subaru jumped out of bed and chased after them. The three of them ran around in circles in the large room, chasing each other.
Couldn't you have woken up more quietly?
A girl had knocked on the door softly, which opened up with a thump, and then looked at the three of them from the doorway. The beauty of her long silver hair could have been seen in full, and today it was untied and naturally flowing down her back. Her clothing was not the robed outfit she usually wore, but was designed with a noticeably darker colors to suit her slender body. Skirt was slightly shorter than knee length, revealing her slender legs, but the area that was hidden by the knee socks that reached up to the top of her thighs.
Wow! Whoever picked this outfit out, I get what they were thinking!
Well, I'm not sure what you're talking about, but it's really disappointing when I know it's about something silly.
Before he knew what he was doing, Subaru pumped his fist and cheered unintentionally. The girl, Amelia, looked at him with dumbfounded eyes in the doorway of the room.
And now chapter 2!
And me!
Boy.
I'm so sorry for you.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Holy moly. Damn, that was really good. I didn't know they went like that in the light novel.
Isn't it awesome?
I love Rem.
Awesome's the word I would use there.
It's so fun.
This is this feels like a fanfic, you know? It feels like fanfic of the anime, even though it's the fucking actual thing. This is wild.
Bro, pre-Betelgeuse Subaru needs to be condemned.
Honestly.
For real? Oh my.
Pissed in the jorts.
In the jorts?
Don't
Thank you, strip
say
chicken.
less. Just say less. In fact, don't even speak at all. Thank you.
You're too much of a Chad in Arc 5. We can make fun of you here.
That's not
Yeah.
no.
There is that art of all 5 of them drawn like Iki-Men for Arc 5, so he kinda is.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo. Can I just say, Palisade and Citrus, your guys' Ramen Rem was actually really good. I was really thrown off when you guys got so well in sync. It completely shocked me. So part of like the shocked reaction of Subaru was actually accurate because I was like, whoa. Okay, I guess I have to step up too now, huh?
I do apologize for missing the combined scary line. I completely missed it.
It was even funnier than that.
It just cuts off. It's like.
And then Vivi just recovered, but it was funny. It was good. The entire time I was wheezing in the corner.
I'm not gonna lie, this definitely is funnier than how it's presented in the anime and light novel because the extra addition of Ram and Rem setting each other out was really
I was about to say, I can't believe they did that.
Let Rem go and go violate sister. No, don't do me. Do her instead. I don't want to be a part of this.
No, I don't need this. I don't need this. Do her.
Ain't no waste.
This really isn't helpful for my life. I need to go.
My sister and I were gonna do a Rem and Ram cosplay next time a convention's in town, and it wasn't really hitting. But now that I've heard this, now this makes sense. It's really me and my sister. It's great. I'll fucking throw her under the bus any day.
Oh man.
When 5 is finished, that is right. Arc 6 read through after Arc 5. Fun fact, for those of you who are members of Studio Reverie, you will be receiving Chapter 63 tonight. After the live, I will be crunching through the rest of the edit. If you are a member and you get to see the chapters early access, you also have the ability to, in the comments, send any corrections that you've heard that you want me to look over and redo, or any advice on some sound effects you want to hear. There's a couple I already have planned that I will add for the final version. The final version of the Liliana Saga will have chapters 63 all the way to 67 in one video, so we can get it out of the way. But if you are a member, you get it in advance. We have chapter 60 all the way up to 65 recorded for our Liliana and our Priscilla. Thank you so much, Cameron, for becoming a member. Appreciate that. Yeah, so you will have access to all these great stuff. Great things. Becoming a member is useful. And if you are on Patreon, you will also be receiving this as well until we fully switch over. So don't you worry. Wherever you're at, we will help you. And if you cannot afford, that is a-okay. It is coming out by the end of the month. And welcome, Jack of all trades, to the members. I appreciate all of you.
You picked a hell of a time to join.
You picked a hell of a time to join. You're going to get 5, 6 chapters.
This is some marketing right here.
Thank you. This was the goal all along. I know it wasn't.
We turned this into shorts. I'm just saying.
We're gonna cut up the chapters and shorts, hour-long chapters to 60
Nah,
shorts.
I'm just saying that.
Kill me!
I'm just saying that one moment with Ram and Rem. That was pretty.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, it's not over.
Oh, it's not over. Oh, we finally got the delayed little thingy. It didn't work.
No.
That's okay. I set up the alerts. No, it's not working. That's fine. We'll make it work next time.
That little giggle hurt me.
That was so cute. I was like, what?
So Beatrice is...
all of the cuteness left my body with that giggle. There's nothing left.
I love it though. It was so good.
I won't lie, I can definitely see why they cut it, but the context of Subaru really busting to pee throughout the entire chapter added just that extra level of urgency, which I thought was really funny. Because literally every single time I was reading through it, I was like, so, like, is he gonna be okay? Is he actually gonna, like, piss his jorts? What's going on?
And at the very end, he's like, I should do it just to spite you. No, I'm too much of a wuss.
Pissing the jorts to spite the masses.
Super special
technique. Over your books.
He might have actually killed him if he did that.
Yeah. I very much.
Yeah, he'd be dead.
And then he'd be back in the situation where his bladder's full. Oh my god, no.
Oh,
he would
that's
never be able to escape it.
We actually... This is still before his next confirmed reset point. He could go back to the Aquaman.
Oh my god!
Oh my god.
This is a new hell. Welcome.
I'm so sorry, everyone. I'm trying to fix this.
Beatrice is probably one of the hardest people to translate the lines of dialogue for, but also the most fun. Because she ends almost every single sentence in either noyo or kashira, which is used by everyone else, not everyone else, but like most other characters like her as well. But it's not nearly as frequent. Which I'm kind of surprised that like the sub and dub only translated half of those. Like they only did the kashiras and they made it more often. Like when I was translating, I went back and listened to when she says what, and they are doing the I suppose when should be like firm in what she's saying.
I guess they latched onto it as like a catchphrase, and they didn't want to like mix up the two, so they just went with the one instead, maybe.
Mm-hmm. She also never uses the word I normally. I suppose is added on because it's just kind of too iconic not to do for her.
Yeah.
But I have to be really careful on every single one of her lines that the default translations will just default to having the word I in it, even when she doesn't say her own name.
She's like the royal we.
Mm-hmm. Well, she normally just talks in third person because that's like a common
Betty
thing
will
for
only
kids
refer
in
to
Japan.
Betty in the third person, I suppose.
Yes. Exactly. So every time that it came out that she should be saying the word I or me or we, I rewrote the sentence to be more vague or non-specific.
Mm-hmm.
And it took a lot of time, but she's just so much fun to write for.
Yes, that paradox of, oh fuck, I've got so much work, but oh my god, it's Betty, let's go.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do it for the Betty.
Do it for her.
The twins are super similar too. Like ridiculously similar in how close their words are. I want to see if I can pull up an easy example. Yeah. I'll throw this in the YouTube chat for people to see on just how close he writes their dialogue. Oh, it didn't get the return sign. It's like 4 characters different,
Oh yeah.
and it's the exact same amount.
So
That's
what?
creepy.
So what you're telling me is that they're sisters?
Mm-hmm.
All sisters do that.
Couldn't
It's just
tell.
like
So what I'm picking up is twins are weird. Got it.
okay, we've been new.
There is. I will say there's this weird trope in like every story that there's a twin in where they have some sort of weird connection that makes no sense.
Shout out to Oshinoko.
Can we?
Mhm.
No.
Right now.
You've not been forgiven. It's okay.
Alright, we're gonna test these one more time. See if they work.
Alright, we'll need another narrator for chapter 3.
I can narrate it since there's no Beatrice now.
Oh hell yeah! Betty is still here, even in just presence.
In spirit.
In spirit.
Suppose.
I'll narrate, I suppose.
Also, one thing before we start the new chapter, there was a reference to a butterfly, which was in the previous chapter, which is pretty based considering all the references butterflies have to other characters later on in the series.
I think he was trying to be more vague about it because the character used can be used to describe any winged insect, but it doesn't just mean an insect with wings.
Weird.
Like-
okay.
Yeah. It's like if the thing you're referring to was focused on like black widows and then they made a mention of spider instead. It's kind of the connection between them.
I mean, like, what? There's 4 options: butterflies, moths, mosquitoes. Bees.
Yeah, it could have been, yes.
Probably butterflies.
So like that word refers to all of those different kinds of creatures, but I felt that it made most sense to associate it to there.
Oh, I gotta change my profile name real quick. Hold on. I did it once. I have to remember it again. There we go. I do this.
I appreciate it. I forgot already.
Do.
And just notice on the stream, my icon is really tiny, and that's funny because I have a rather deep voice.
Yeah, Yeah, it's like this tiny thing goes up to his like, oh, little buddy, you're so cute. What's your name? Rick.
I'm Pickle Rick.
No.
Sorry, I hear Rick and that's the first thing I think.
Yeah, because you're cringe.
I'm Pickle Rick.
I'm Pickle Rick. You're cringe. Alright, we ready?
I'm ready.
Heck yeah.
All right, here we go. Oh boy, should have got another drink. Too late now.
We can wait.
Too late. Nope. We're doing it now. Arc 2, Chapter 3. Now I Can Never Be Your Bride. Amelia's sudden arrival made Subaru's heart skip a beat. He was pleasantly surprised by her unexpectedly casual outfit, almost as much as he was by her presence here. After getting treated poorly by the series of people he'd met there, especially that first one, seeing the first person who had been kind to him after getting summoned made him feel something special.
It's like an animal imprinting. I don't want to lose this feeling. Please don't leave me, Mom!
I was a little worried when I heard Beatrice played a prank on you while you were still low on blood, but it seems like there was no point.
I'm a pro at getting up when I wake up. Also, I'm kind of afraid to ask you this.
Subaru tapped his indexed fingers together timidly, and then looked at the waiting Amelia with an upturned gaze.
That is... You remember who I am, right?
That gesture is really unpleasant, and that's a strange thing to ask. I doubt I'd be able to forget someone as memorable as you, Subaru.
Subaru breathed a sigh of relief and dropped his shoulders when he heard her say his name. Plus, she called him by his personal name, something that was rare for him. He started blushing all the way to his ears. While Subaru was experiencing that immature feeling, the twins he had been chasing rushed to Amelia's side. They circled around her back and stuck their faces out from both her left and right side, looking at Subaru.
Lady Amelia, please listen to me. Sister was severely humiliated by that man.
Lady Amelia, listen to me, please. Rem was captured and violated by that man.
You two would pull such a prank. Subaru maybe would do that, but there's no way he could. Rem, don't mess around too much with someone in recovery.
Yes, Lady Amelia. Sister will reflect on her actions.
Yes, ma'am, Lady Amelia. Rem will reflect as well.
Ram and Rem were the names of the two who declared their remorse with not a shred of it in their voice. Amelia turned to Subaru without seeming to care, as she was likely accustomed to their attitude already.
Are you feeling alright? Do you feel anything unusual?
No, Well, actually, before I fell asleep, I thought I was gonna die for my entire body burning, but I don't feel like that at all anymore. On the contrary, I feel a little tired from too much sleep.
That makes sense. It's almost been a day since I met you, Subaru, but you've been asleep for more than half that time.
There's no way!
Subaru was about to argue with her and recount everything that had happened until then, but couldn't find the right words. From his perspective, the whole time it took to just get through yesterday was more than 24 hours. However, to Amelia, the only encounter she'd had with Subaru had lasted less than a single hour. They had hardly exchanged any words at all.
This is hardly the time to be having a good night's sleep. I must do it now. The conversation event. I should have gotten already. I don't even think I'm tired from oversleeping. Not to mention, me being awake in the morning is super rare.
What kind of life is that?
No, wait! You see, it's better to game at night when there's no extra noise. Honestly, to a shut-in like me, the early hours of the day are exclusively for sleeping.
Somehow, the more I hear about you, Subaru, the more disappointed I get.
She probably didn't understand most of what he said, but her sigh of dismay made it clear she managed to get the gist of it. Subaru was getting a kick out of most of her responses, and suddenly turned his attention towards her casual outfit.
Come to think of it, you're dressed quite differently today. What were you gonna do?
Please don't mention my outfit too much. It wasn't my choice. As to what I'm doing, I'm about to start my morning routine.
Amelia had held her forehead and muffled her words in a way that made it difficult to hear what she said. Her reluctance bothered him a bit, but he was concerned with a different matter.
Morning routine?
I borrow the garden of the mansion in the morning and have a chat with the spirits, since that's one of my oaths to them.
Talking with spirits sounds fun! I'm not sure what an oath is, though.
The first thing Subaru thought of when he heard the word spirit was a cat with gray fur. Subaru hadn't spent much time with him in this world, but he was looking forward to seeing him again, mainly to recharge his fluff quota. Without realizing it, Subaru started wiggling his fingers. Amelia had already started learning to ignore Subaru's weird behavior.
Well, it's good that you're excited, but try not to make too much noise. Many people are still asleep. Although, it's not really fair to tell you to be quiet after sleeping for so long, Subaru.
It sure is. So, this garden is pretty... is it pretty big?
It's more of a park than a garden. Why do you ask?
I wouldn't mind just sitting in the corner of the garden while you talk to the spirits, Amelia Tan. That is, if that wouldn't bother you.
So long as you don't just go around yelling or something. Wait! What did you just say?
Alright! If you're on board, I'm coming too!
Hold on. What did you say? What's a ton? Where did that come from?
Subaru fended off Amelia's flustered questioning, and, feeling spiteful about earlier, turned his attention to Rom and Rem.
Hey! Maid sisters! Have you seen my clothes? I'm not sure when, but they were switched out for what they look like hospital clothes. I expect you're keeping them around here?
He hadn't really thought of it until then. The clothes he was in were a kind of reddish-brown cloth robe. The material was stiff for being a hospital gown, but it was more comfortable and seemed better for spending long periods of time in.
If I'm going to be exercising, I'd rather wear my jersey. I hope it is around here somewhere. It may have been coated in blood.
Do you know what he means, sister? Was it that dingy gray cloth, perhaps?
I may know what he means, Rem. Perhaps that blood-stained, ratty gray rag.
You two are pretty bold, huh? Yeah! The dingy grey rag. If it's still intact, could you bring it here?
The twins looked to Amelia for confirmation. When she responded by indicating her eyes, the twins nodded and tottered out of the room without question.
Are you sure you're feeling alright? It looked to me like you were cut pretty deep.
If you believe it, it's fully closed up. I don't want to let my body get lazy either. I've missed a day of strength training, and it's going to take me 3 days to get it back. Oh! Yeah, that's right!
Suddenly remembering, Subaru straightened his posture and brushed himself off before turning to face Amelia again. He bowed his head to her, causing her to look at him puzzled.
Amelia Tan, you were the one who healed me, right? Thank you for saving my life. I'm still afraid of dying, actually. Just once is enough.
I think you usually only do it once. And that wasn't me.
She waved for him to straighten up as she shook her head. Then, she looked straight at Subaru with serious eyes. Twin amethyst eyes. Subaru got caught up in their brilliance and shut down.
I'm the one who should be thanking you. Back there, you risked your life to save me. Someone you barely knew. It's a given I would treat your injuries.
Being directly thanked by someone with so sincere a look in their eyes, Subaru could only respond with a, "Ugh." He felt bitter at himself for not being able to give even a single sincere response. It was unlikely that he would be able to face her without making a fool out of himself or making a joke.
How much easier would it be if I could say, no, you saved me?
He was thinking back to when she had first saved him. but the only trace of that first world was in Subaru's mind.
Well, how about we call this a 0 point?
Point.
It means we're square. Now, you want to get going, sister? Ah, if only we were in the streets, we could have leaned back on each other's shoulders.
Fortunately, they weren't, so all he could lean on was his energy to cover up his cringe. Emilia smiled slightly at Subaru's tough guy act.
I don't think I want such a weird little brother.
That was rather harsh, don't you think?
Right then, Subaru felt quite disappointed he was so casually dismissed as the subordinate in their relationship. He had to resign himself to the fact that, since he hadn't shown any reliable parts of himself, it was an inevitable evaluation of him.
I have this for you, dear guest.
I have brought this for you, dear guest.
While Subaru and Emilia were having their exchange, the twins had returned with his tracksuit. The pink-haired one was carrying his jacket, and the blue-haired one his pants. Thankfully, both appeared to have had all traces of blood washed away. Seeing them, Subaru was relieved they were undamaged. Then, the two came up and started trying to hurriedly undress him.
Hey! I could do that myself! Although, I can't say I don't enjoy this.
He is one that actually feels that pleasure outweighs humiliation, sister.
Well, he's truly a pervert at heart to let pleasure outweigh humiliation, Rem.
It's subtle, but the pink-haired one is a little more foul-mouthed than the other. I'm getting changed! Let me go!
Subaru shook the hands of the twins off and retrieved his fallen tracksuit. He was about to go and change when a thought occurred to him.
Come to think of it, you changed me out of these clothes before.
It was me. Ram and Rem were out of the house, so I was the only one who could change your clothes while you were getting healed. Oh, and I also wiped down your body a little.
Emilia answered him without a shred of concern. Subaru subtly peeked at the underwear he was wearing and confirmed that even that had been changed. He collapsed on the spot and covered his face with his palms.
Now I can never be your bride!
If our genders were reversed, that would almost make sense. We don't have much time, so you're going to come. Hurry up.
Emilia tapped him on the shoulder, telling him to be quick. She was so matter-of-fact about it all that Subaru decided to just forget that further pursuit of her would lead to a dead end. A beautiful girl had dressed him up and already seen everything. That was a good thing. He could even consider it a reward of some kind.
Positive thinking. That's it.
He gently wiped the tears of his heart and got to his feet. He looked around the room with his clothes in hand, and the women, having sensed his intention to change, made their way out. The twins left quickly, and Emilia's silver hair left last. Just before her white figure completely disappeared behind the door, she suddenly turned around.
I'm so sorry.
You don't have to worry. It was splendid.
The door slammed shut. Subaru was left in the room and started to change. It took him a bit of time to understand the monk-like robes he was wearing, but somehow he managed to get changed back into his tracksuit. He folded the robe neatly and placed it atop the bed. Then, after double-checking the feel of his clothes that he had worn several hours ago, he stretched, let out a as he did, and felt ready to go.
Now!
He swung his hips around and cracked his knuckles while looking at the window of the room. Through the peeled-back curtains, he could see the shining sun blessing the still early morning as it continued to rise. After squinting at the warmth of such sunlight, Subaru then paced toward the bed and collapsed back onto it.
I can't marry you anymore!
He pushed his face into the pillow and cried manly tears. Her last remark was so painful, he wanted to die. In fact, he wished he could just die and start over. However, he couldn't die just because his heart hurt. So Subaru just cried like a little girl because of a problem for boys.
And that was the end of chapter 3. Hold up, was she complimenting his pee-pee?
Yep.
Jesus Christ. Not only does she call him her brother in one chapter, but she's... Nice
She
call
did
there,
that because he
senpai.
said sister.
Kyles, are you good?
Kyle's not good. Kyle's losing her shit. I was laughing the entire time.
I heard before that you don't have to worry. Everyone was losing it.
I
And then I had to pull back because that's like I have to narrate. No, keep it together. Keep it together. Keep it together.
I should not have looked ahead. The one time I looked ahead and I was like, oh, okay, practice that. Wait a minute!
Because you noticed the
Oh,
yeah!
no.
He literally collapsed onto a chair.
I heard that.
Fuck you, Connor, for being a good writer.
I like quadruple checked that is what she was saying.
Wait, so wait. She said what is being implied?
Okay,
Yes.
but like, here's the question: how does she know how babies are made? But she's like, nice dick. What?
Don't say it like that!
God.
I mean, to be fair, I did know it. Yeah, I get where she's at. Been there.
Hey, yo.
Well, that was one hell of a chapter. And Wolf just yeeted himself out the window.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Wolf will be missed.
Very Subaru of him.
Everyone
And
said
then it
that
doesn't
about
help that
Batman,
after all of that, the narrator's just like, yeah, he was crying like a little baby girl over boy problems. Oh my gosh, can you believe
What a way
this
to
loser?
end the chapter.
Subaru returns.
Subaru.
Oh, that's what you're typing.
Yeah. Subaru.
I thought you were making fun of how Kyles was saying Subaru.
No.
I do.
That was a
sound-
return to the sub joke.
I figured that when I saw it too. I was like, uh-oh, shit. I was gonna apologize. I'm like, oh no, I said Subaru accidentally, and I'm like, no, I know what's going on.
Subaru.
Subaru.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Planet, it's funny you mentioned Puck raising her to be okay, because she's also implying that he's the one that picked out the attractive outfit that she's wearing and does not like to have on.
Oh my god.
What the fuck, Puck? What the fuck? Wow.
Yeah.
You know, I'm really enjoying the web novel version of Arc 2 way more than I like the anime.
Well, we are at 3 minutes into the first episode, I think. If that.
It's amazing how much more content you can get in when you just cut out all the pee talk.
We had
It's
the
really.
Remember,
skip
writers,
possible
never
movies.
have your characters piss. It takes up too much time.
Yeah.
P-Gate
Obviously.
absolute destroying of this man's self-worth. Just fucking sassy maids. God damn. No wonder why he is the way he is. They are not helping, and I'm a big fan of it.
Including the 2-minute OP, we are at exactly 6 minutes 30 seconds into this episode. Or into Arc 2.
We're 6 minutes and 30 seconds into the first episode of Arc 2.
Episode 4 of the anime.
It's taking us like what, 2 months now? Hey, just you wait. That means Arc 5, where we're at, it's gonna be like 3 episodes. That's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
2 years,
That would be insane.
but we're plugging along.
It's Subaru's a lot in this. Like he's a lot.
Oh, jeez. All right, are we ready to prep for chapter 4?
I don't have. Earlier, I had the link to the things. I don't have chapter 4 up.
I got you.
Oh, let's go.
3 and the vast majority of 4.
There we go.
We're-
Thank you.
We're also all translated from scratch by me this time, rather than basing it off of like Witch Cult or Eminent like the first 2.
Wow, was it easier?
I had to make less corrections, but it takes longer to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Keep me posted if you still need help on that. I've dropped the ball on helping you with that, but We can also slow down the Arc 2 content while you catch up as well. Just keep me posted. Because I don't want to work you into the ground.
That's for later. No.
Yeah, that's when I can pay you maybe one day. Then I'll work you senseless.
I mean, I'm not Subaru. I'm not gonna come off and pretend like that's a pleasure of mine, but I do like doing these translations.
Can I stop getting called out, please? Stop!
No, you are Subaru.
I thought you had jumped out the window.
He's a tier 5 Subaru.
He's back and
So,
he's better.
I RBD'd, okay? I'm back.
Do it again! That was such a perfect imitation of that.
Thank you. I've been practicing so we can make a cover so we can just like yeet that thing 24/7.
But if you make it too close, they're still gonna claim you anyway.
Rude.
Let's see. Was there anything else like weird about 3? Oh, when you were yelling "Let me go," for anyone who doesn't have the thing still open, I'm like 90% sure that's a reference to the first Yu-Gi-Oh series.
Hey yo.
Hey.
Because of the way that he splits the word up in the text rather than just saying Hanase, which is "let me go," it sounds exactly like how the sub actor did for the Pharaoh. Yeah, exactly.
That's like the one episode of Yu-Gi-Oh I've seen too.
Which is, yeah, it's a huge meme. It comes like right after the draw Monstaccato over and over and over again.
Hey yo. Also, congrats on translating 95% of this chapter. Holy cow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 4, I could have got it, all of it, but I ran out of time this morning. 3 was 100% me.
What the hell? It was great.
You did a fucking great job, Connor. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Hey, which
Thank you. I almost minored in creative writing, so
Oh wow.
once I get it into English,
Nice.
writing it out as readable text is the easy part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
no,
when
we
I-
didn't-
Damn.
It's when I run into Tappei doing Meikyu, Seikyu, and KQ, which are all different ways to say like an agreement or contract or binding thing.
Yeah.
Oh god. Which one
And I don't know if he's being consistent yet.
Oh no. Hey, but we love what you're doing, so it works out well.
We much appreciate.
We do, we do.
Yes.
I need to go
This
to-
last batch alone, I quadrupled the length of the translation dictionary that I have on the readings drive as well.
Oh yes, that's right. Let's go. Alright, we translator troubles, buy him a beer. Let's go. Alright, we have our Subaru, we have our Ram, our Rem, our Amelia, and our Puck. Who would like to be the narrator this time?
I'm still good for it if we need it.
I can also do it and just do the single line of Rom in the different voice.
That's
If you
true.
want.
Whatever you guys want. Duke it out.
Fisticuffs. No. Wait, I'm in this. No, never mind.
Were you arguing for your own fight?
Yeah.
Baby.
We love to see that.
I should warn you before you challenge me to a fight. I am a green belt in Krav Maga and karate.
I
is there
should
anything
warn
you
you,
can't do?
I have no fight experience whatsoever. But I'm good at breaking up fights because I have 4 children, so I know disarming tactics.
Put the weapons down!
No!
Weapons.
While you were preparing your stance, I was doing diversion!
Well, we could always split up the chapter too.
You can just take a tail day. It's fine.
Okie dokie.
Okie dokie.
Alright, everyone else ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okie dokie.
Alright, take it away.
Arc 2, Chapter 4 Isekai Boot Camp. After wiping away his tears, Subaru went to follow Amelia. This time, he passed through a hallway that actually had an end, and was led through to the garden's mansion. Along the way, the twins slinked away to attend to other work they had to do.
Wow! It's huge! I mean, so is the mansion, but this is more like a field than a garden.
It was a nobleman's garden, the kind of place one would see in anime and manga, where buffets, parties, and other similar events would be held. Subaru let out an audible exhale in admiration of the garden, and then immediately started stretching. Amelia looked curiously at him, getting into the rhythm.
What are those strange movements you're doing?
Haven't you seen warm-up exercises before? If you don't relax your muscles before you move your body around, you could accidentally tear something somewhere surprising. Like your Achilles tendon or something like that.
Nope, I haven't seen them before. Though, I suppose it's true that if you don't get your body ready before sudden movement, you could get seriously injured.
So you don't have pre-workout exercises in this other world, huh? Well, guess I've got no choice. Tell you what! Let me teach you the time-honored warm-up routine from my hometown!
Amelia flinched a little, perhaps due to the power of Subaru's overwhelming, self-confident spirit, but followed his lead.
Sure, though just for a little while.
Subaru instructed her to line up beside him. She did, and with their backs to the mansion, he had them take a deep breath in front of the sun.
Radio Calisthenics, number 2, Chia! Cha-cha-cha, 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 cha-cha-cha!
Oh my, what?
Spread your arms, stretch your legs, on my beat, follow me!
While instructing a bewildered Amelia, Subaru performed the nationally famous radio calisthenics routine, a cappella style. At first, Amelia looked doubtful as she imitated the exercises, but gradually she became motivated and devoted herself to the exercises with a serious look on her face.
Final move!
When they made it to the final deep breath of it, Subaru gave the final instruction.
Final move! Raise your hands! Touch the sky! Victory!
Victory!
Alright, that's it! That was pretty good for a first-timer, Amelia Tan. You are awarded the title of Beginner Radionist! Keep up the good work! Fight!
Subaru was starting life over in another world, as prophet of Radio Calisthenics number 2. Amelia, his unforgettable first disciple, exhaled towards the enthusiastic Subaru with a subtly pale face.
I have no idea what you were saying, but you were right about those exercises. I can feel the mana circulating nicely in my body.
You're welcome to show that to the others, but only if you do so by singing and getting the lyrics right.
It only worked with the music and shouting. It was a non-negotiable without that. Amelia nodded in agreement, pressured by Subaru's unusually serious demeanor.
Let's see. It went cha-cha-cha, cha-cha-cha, ra-ra-ra?
No! It's cha-cha-cha, 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 cha-cha-cha!
They continued saying cha-cha-cha back and forth to each other for a while, until Subaru finally decided to just write the lyrics and beat down. After deciding this, Subaru suddenly realized that he didn't know if his writing could be read by anyone else. Subaru already knew he couldn't read their writing.
I'll see about that later. At the moment, I can only write in Japanese, some English, and a bit of girl emoji.
He had acquired the Japanese girls' texting language in his spare time with unexpected enthusiasm. Since there had never been opportunity for him to use them, it was a sweet but useless skill from Subaru's point of view.
By the way, Subaru, you're quite physically fit, aren't you?
Amelia had suddenly muttered this to Subaru, who was fiddling with his joints a bit more by turning his wrists and ankles. She looked at him from top to bottom, and he got embarrassed again as she did, even though she had already seen him completely naked for medicinal purposes. The humiliation he had felt 10 minutes prior returned, and Subaru scratched his head.
Yeah, I guess. Since I'm a bedroom hermit, the least I can do is work out.
I don't really know what a bedroom hermit is. You must come from some kind of noble family, though, right, Subaru? Did you learn martial arts there?
No! I come from a firmly average middle-class household. Where'd you get that idea? Was there an air and elegance that overflowed? As if I'm from a noble family?
You certainly are peculiar.
Subaru raised his hands as if to say, "You got me." And when he did, Amelia suddenly grabbed one of them. Subaru's throat froze as he was inadvertently holding hands with her.
Ah.
It's because of your soft skin like this. Not to mention how smooth your hair and skin look. They don't look like an average person's. Your muscles don't look like they came from working a hard job either.
Subaru blushed in content as his palm was played with, softly. He had never considered the appearance of his hair or skin before. Hearing them complimented was making his head spin rapidly, while Amelia continued on about his uncommon appearance.
Black hair, black eyes. Those are more common traits among people from the south. But it's almost unheard of in Lagunica. Were you an attendant or squire to someone I didn't see from there? Those clothes, too. They're made from a material I've never seen before. Something like that, for sure.
Amelia smiled, feeling proud of her victory over the silent Subaru. He nodded somberly at her guesses, feeling intrigued by her beautiful and bewitching appearance.
If you're asking whether you got close, and you were really far off, how can I say that without hurting your feelings?
If I'm wrong, you should tell me I'm wrong, or I'll just embarrass myself.
Fine. You know, I've just been pretending to not be embarrassed about my ignorance too. We should be fine to embarrass ourselves together!
I don't recall our relationship deepening to the point where you wouldn't be afraid to embarrass ourselves. I'd rather move on. So I'll ask you plainly. What are you, Subaru?
The question was thrown at his face without shame or disdain. It'd be true to just say, "I'm a deadbeat from a different world, thank you very much." But saying that after being summoned like he had was like a gateway to being called crazy.
If this was a 2D world full of easy opportunities, even a crazy person wouldn't get thrown out. But based on the seriousness of Amelia's face, I think she might respond poorly by making me an ice sculpture. Well, it's time for Fantasy World Plan B.
It's so weird that you're mumbling to yourself right now. Don't you have an answer for me?
Yes, I do. A good one. Unfortunately, I don't know it because I have amnesia and don't know who or what I am.
Natsuki Subaru. That's what you said your name was?
Oh no! I'm so dumb! She contradicted me without any hesitation!
You're not going to give me a proper answer. Oh well, I'm not going to pry if that's the case. Anyway...
Amelia, surprisingly, easily shrugged off Subaru's response. He was mulling over his own foolishness when she pulled out a green crystal from her pocket.
Oh, what's that?
A spirit stone in which a spirit resides. You knew about Puck, didn't you?
You're that grey cat that fell asleep at the crucial moment, right? You don't know what I did after that because you were asleep, do you?
It was the dwelling of the spirit that vanished during the battle with Elsa. This was the first time Subaru had seen it in this world, but he did get a glimpse of it in the first one. The crystal started glowing as if in response to Subaru's condemnations.
I hate to break it to you, but I heard about the whole mess from Leah afterwards. I've not been asleep the entire time, Subaru.
The light leaking from the crystals gathered and gradually created a small outline. First, a head formed, then a torso began to emerge, and when the 4 limbs were in place, the body was covered in fur. A few seconds later, a small bipedal cat appeared in Amelia's palm.
Hello and good morning, Subaru. It's a nice day, isn't it?
Actually, it's been a fucking wild time for me. I dealt with a stupidly long hallway, a dire need to piss, dominated them both. Then I realised Amelia Tan couldn't marry me anymore since I'd lost my purity.
You shouldn't say such crass words.
Subaru replied to her rapprochement.
If you say so.
Amelia closed her eyes in resignation and looked down towards Puck, who was standing in her palm.
Good morning, Puck. I'm sorry I pushed you too hard yesterday.
Good morning, Leah. And I think I'm the one to apologize for what happened yesterday. I almost lost you. I can't thank Subaru enough.
Puck looked up at Subaru with his round eyes and tilted his little head.
I'm grateful to you, Subaru. If there's anything you want me to do, just ask. I'll do anything.
Let me fondle your fur whenever I want.
Subaru replied instantly to Puck's large offer. Whether due to the speed or specifics of his response, both Puck and a flustered Amelia rolled their eyes back.
Hey, why don't you think about that a little more before you make a decision? He may look small and weak, but Puck is really powerful, you know?
Yeah, my appearance can be a little deceptive. I'm a very important spirit, you see, so it's not a problem if you ask me for something a little greedy.
Hey! For a first-rate fur connoisseur like me, the right place to pet the subject of my desire any time. In my eyes, priceless. The ability to pet fluffy fur. It takes one's heart to new heights and purifies even the most desolate of souls.
Puck kept his word, and Subaru was granted the right to pet and rub Puck as much as he wants. From the belly to the chin, even the top-knot-looking ears.
Oh, your ears are so sweet! I'm already falling in love!
It's amazing that you're being genuine, Subaru. I can read your mind vaguely, so I can tell.
Puck did that in amusement as he and Subaru rubbed fingers. Amelia sighed in distinct dismay at the sight of the two.
I'm exhausted from trying to understand you, Subaru.
Don't give up. Life and interpersonal relationships are based on the spirit of mutual understanding. Don't expect to understand me so easily.
What does that mean? It's really annoying.
Subaru folded his arms and turned his face away while looking at Amelia with one eye open. Seeing her attitude, which showed her displeasure, Subaru made up his mind about the future. Amelia rescued Puck from Subaru's attacks, and with a light wave, she turned towards the garden.
Well, I'll go talk to the spirits now then. And Subaru, can you go over there and weed quietly?
Alright! Reading is so exciting, so I'll do my best. But that's not why you brought me to the garden, is it?
I'm kidding.
She laughed as he watched her silver hair disappear into the distance. Then he got up and did a few more exercises.
I've already done my preparatory exercises, so now it's time for my daily muscle training. Since I already skipped a day yesterday, it would make sense to do 2 days' worth.
100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats. Subaru continued to do such basic muscle training even though he was shut in at his parents' house. Occasionally, on a whim, he would add swinging a wooden sword to the mix, but generally it was like that. He did push-ups, strained his abs, and worked up quite a sweat with some squats. After a short interval, he went through them all again. It was a process that took only about 10 minutes, but Subaru had the absurd stubbornness to continue it every day.
I'm not sure how much more I can get out of those. Adding a wooden sword or something would make it a little better, maybe.
Here you go, sir.
Use this, sir.
The sisters had suddenly appeared and hurriedly placed a wooden sword in Subaru's hand. He accepted it with a thank you and a salutation, and then was stunned to see the two sisters had disappeared. Regardless, there was a wooden sword in his hand, just as he had hoped. The shape of the sword was a little different from a wooden katana, as it represented a two-handed sword, which was common to this country. However, the fundamentals of handling them were the same. He swung it lightly as if to check, and decided that the weight was just right.
Thank God for the all-purpose maids. Well, anyway, haven't swung a sword in a while, so I'm raring to go. Ready and swing! Ready and swing!
Subaru was a member of the Kendo Club only during his junior high school years, but he had mastered the art to the extent of acquiring a Dan rank. Since he continued to practice after that, his sharpness was not so different from when he was still active.
This is a fantasy world of swords and sorcery, so this may actually be useful.
Sweat trickled down his forehead and dripped from his chin onto the grass with each of his strikes. In the back of his mind, he recalled yesterday's attack and defense in the stolen warehouse, with the image of Reinhard and Elsa exchanging the gleam of their dull blades. He pictured his current self intervening there with a real two-handed sword in hand.
Eat me, Elsa! Your misdeeds have been returned in kind!
They jumped at each other, exchanged a single strike, and he was gutted. This wasn't good enough, so he went into image training for the second time. But this time he entered the line of fire of Reinhard's slash and was obliterated. In conclusion, no matter how hard he tried, an ordinary person like him could not win against a cheat ability.
What a story. Ah, it's not worth the effort.
He took a short rest with the sword resting on his shoulder. As he took a breath, he suddenly became curious about how Amelia was doing and looked in her direction. She was sitting on the ground in the green garden with her legs crossed and Puck on her leg on the ground, exchanging some words with her. Well, Subaru had assumed that the person she was talking to was Puck.
But, unless I'm mistaken, Ameliaton's surroundings are glowing.
At arm's reach around the silver-haired girl, he could see a dim, pale glow enveloping the space around her. Floating through it were lights of various colors that seemed to be fleeting and unreliable, like the light of fireflies. It was a mysterious and somewhat fantastic scene, a scene that one would hesitate to touch. It was a sanctuary where only those who are permitted by a supernatural being can reside. Subaru was surprised to see such a scene.
Wow, this is amazing! Are all these fluffy things spirits by any chance?
Huh?
Subaru had mistakenly spoke aloud to Amelia while she was talking to the spirits, as if it were the most natural thing to do. Amelia couldn't help but be surprised by Subaru's sudden appearance, and her eyes moistened with tears as if they were responding to her astonishment. And her sudden change in feeling spread to the spirits around her.
Oh! What did I do?
Numerous lights swayed from side to side, as if they were fluttering, trying to get behind Amelia as if they were trying to escape Subaru's consciousness. It was like a flock of pigeons fleeing from you in a park.
You're amazing, Subaru. Ordinarily, spirits are existences that require courage to approach.
So, you're saying you're lucky to have me around, right? I know! I can't imagine my life without you, Ruffle.
Subaru ambushed Puck, who was still on Amelia's arm, who had stiffened in response to his actions, and began his tickle attack. While doing so, he tilted his head towards her, who was still speechless, and enjoyed the feeling of her silver hair with his fingers.
What's the matter? Your insignia will get stolen again if you aren't careful.
Hey, that's a sore spot. Never mind. I was just super shocked.
Amelia blamed Subaru for her own shortcomings while wiping away her tears with her fingers. The spirits swayed up and down, as if agreeing with her.
Well, aren't you in a good mood?
Well, anyway, this is my first time seeing spirits in this life, so it's a bit exciting for me. They didn't look that dangerous to me.
I was keeping them under control, so it was okay. If it was an inexperienced spiritual arts user, they would cause the spirits to run away and bam!
Amelia had tried to intimidate them with her voice, dropping it low and ending the statement with a powerful word. Unfortunately, she didn't seem to have been able to find a better word than bam. Subaru had listened intently, but just shrugged his shoulders at her and looked toward Puck.
He's exaggerating a bit.
Is a fluffy light like that really that dangerous?
Yes, it is. In fact, if I wanted, I could turn you to dust at this very moment.
I'm sorry for pretending like I was licking you!
In gratitude and apology, he threw himself to the ground. Puck laughed with a small wave of his hand, and Amelia's lips pouted a little, frustrated at the difference in treatments between her and Puck.
Why can't you be that straightforward with me? Hey, Puck!
It's probably just the experience.
Puck gave a long, calm reply, stroking his beard. Amelia, perhaps taken aback by Puck's nonchalant attitude, exhaled as if she had given up any further clarification from him.
And that was the end of chapter 4.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Great job, everybody.
Woo. Thank you, JLD, for instantly fixing the tense issues I left in.
Yeah, but I missed the mansion, the Gardens mansion in the very first. That one area.
That was still good, though.
You
That was
guys
still
did
good.
an amazing job.
Garden's so big, it has its own mansion.
Yeah, garden
It wasn't
mansion.
planted here for you. You were built for it.
Patchy patchy. Chat is giving us all the claps. Thank you, chat.
Thank you very much.
It's so much more fun with this context. I also like sassy Amelia. Like, everybody actually has a fucking personality in this.
Yeah, I feel like Amelia has way more of a character when we don't cut out all of her dialogue.
Yeah, no kidding. Not just, I guess.
Now, granted, the majority of this entire scene is unnecessary to the story, so it makes sense to cut it, but it is like a huge chunk of everything she says in this arc.
It's one of those things in writing where you either have to progress the plot or you have to progress the characters or like develop character relationships. And that is developing character relationships. So I still feel like it's necessary to the story to be there. Because otherwise, especially from Amelia's perspective, she has no idea who this fucking guy is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just vibing.
Look at this freeloader that's hanging out in
And I
my
understand
yard.
when it
What
comes
the
to
heck?
levity's sake, you've got to decide what you're going to cut, right? And if you are to cut anything, it would be this. But I still think it's a shame because this is really fun.
I've seen
Yeah.
so many requests for Wolf Radio Calisthenics on the freaking Patreon. We get your cosplay to a good spot.
I would do it. It is really fun.
I'll wear mine too. There we go. So pay now $10,000 and we'll get Wolf out there doing radio calisthenics for you every Sunday morning.
Damn.
Not Sunday mornings. I work Sunday mornings. Sunday afternoons.
Which pretend
Weekends.
Woo weekend.
Somewhere in there.
This was yeah, I'm liking Arc 2. Arc 2 is fun.
Arc 2 is a lot of fun.
You did a great job with translations. Good job, Connor.
Thank you so much, Connor. You've done an amazing job.
Thank you. It's hard. It's definitely harder than Arc 1 was, not having Witch Cult there to be like a constant guide of just fixing and editing it, with occasionally going to check the Japanese. I checked every single sentence for these.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Holy.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep me
Especially
posted.
when Subaru suddenly goes into imagining the previous arc and pretending like the attacks are happening at the moment,
Well, now
and
that
image training them.
now that I know you're doing it 100%, when you're done a chapter, just send me a DM and I'll do a quick proofread for you so you don't have to worry about that.
Will do.
Yeah, oh gosh.
Because you could edit professionally.
Yes, yes. Because I need to help you along the way with all that stuff. You're better at the translating and I can definitely help you along the way.
I'll send the notes for the extra stuff that I've been doing into the dictionary as well.
Thank you, thank you.
But yeah, good job on the calisthenics lead, Wolf. So
Yep.
you don't know the beat, but you matched it perfectly.
Oh, I
And-
did?
Yes.
Oh, let's go!
Let's go!
I'm not gonna lie, I was filled with anxiety because I really wanted to get it right because it's fun.
You did great.
Aw.
Let's go, let's go.
And I'm glad I went with bigotry for mispronouncing victory.
Yeah, that was good. I was like, hold on a moment, what the heck? The anime dude like punked me.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Oh, Kiki, you're here.
Kiki!
I'm glad you weren't here to hear my absolute.
Betty's back!
Welcome, Kiki!
Hey Kiki, you have so much quota now.
Wait, what?
So now that we're doing Arc 2, it's like Betty City.
Oh shit, ready, let's go!
Let's go! I'm just like every Saturday we'll be doing this. Or Saturday's good for you?
Yeah, I can do it. I had to pretty much run errands this morning, so I wasn't able to do them.
Oh, that's fair. But you're here now.
Adulting.
One of
Hey!
us. One of us.
One of
One
us.
of
One
us.
of us.
One of us.
Oh yeah. Oh, this has been a lot of fun, friends. Anyone else have any big feelings about Arc 2?
It was
I'm
good.
surprised at the amount of foreshadowing that's actually in the web novel that is not in the light
for
novel
sure.
at all.
It's crazy.
It feels very different. Like not even just tonally, just in the content that's there. Like
Mhm.
you can see that it's like got the same sort of direction, but there's just so much more comedy,
Yeah, there's a lot of comedy.
and I really like that because one of my favorite things about ReZero is its ability to balance comedy and the really serious stuff. Because I think any story that's completely comedy or any story that's completely serious is very boring.
Yeah.
If you've got like a dark story, I want a bit of humor in there, right? And if there's a comedic story, I want a little bit of some deep stuff there every now and then.
Yeah,
And I really like that Teppei manages to balance the two. And it really
I like
comes
how
across
even
well
like
there.
the narrations even like taking the piss out of Subaru sometimes.
Yeah.
So that sounds really funny with the way that I went with it, but only because we didn't do it from scratch from the beginning. All of Arc 2 in Japanese reads almost in first person.
Oh, nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like a dramatic amount, which is why when it's like my translations don't have nearly as much of like Subaru's internal thinking for it, and I just rewrote it to be the narrator describing what he felt. Because he doesn't put them in quotes, and it's hard to distinguish them otherwise.
So
But
just,
it's,
just to put it in line with the rest of the structure of the other arcs, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's fair.
I think it makes sense like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's also
Also,
giving...
Tappei talks to the audience as the narrator sometimes.
You do. It's giving a lot of Kaguya-sama.
You can
narrator
feel
vibes.
you can feel the hand of the author in this quite a bit.
Teppei
Yeah.
is always present. Let's
Um,
this is how ReZero ends. Teppei is the god of the world, and he just says "fuck you, Subaru," and that's it. I'm taking Amelia.
Well, Puck is based on his icon or like online profile pic, right? Of the gray cat.
Yeah.
Oh,
So peace to the end.
he. Yay. Well.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying going through all this. Good job to everyone today. Tealdi, I'm sorry that you have to narrate the cringiest parts of Subaru's narration.
No, it's okay. I didn't have to narrate the P problem 2023, so it could have been worse.
P-gate.
I don't
Yeah,
think
but-
I'm ever going to financially recover from this.
It's a wild chapter.
It's such a dichotomy to hear that you're like super serious and well-spoken and deliberate narration going for all of Subaru's like intense amount of, well,
Humility.
cringe.
Tomfoolery. It was great.
It is very easy to do the comedic stuff for Subaru. I find like the more dramatic stuff much harder.
I'm also really glad that we're doing this now, you know, considering, I mean, Wolf and I live together, so that makes sense. But I don't think we could have pulled this off when we first met at all. I would have been like, what? This is weird. I can't be saying this stuff to you. No, I don't care. I'm like, whatever. Let's get going.
Unlike Subaru and Amelia, your relationship has gone to the stage where you can share embarrassing things.
Yeah!
Why did you both cheer?
I don't know. We both had a very pained look in our face.
Yay, familiarity! Woo!
Yay! Yeah, I don't know. I think we've literally talked ourselves out about Arc 2. Anyone else have anything to say? Otherwise, we'll wrap up with chat and we'll just hang out in our own chat for a bit.
I think it's like last little bit here is that it's much more obvious here how little Amelia knows Subaru.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that it's only from the fight.
Which is still
Really-
weird. And she's pretty receptive to him considering.
Yeah, that was that really sad moment where Subaru's asking her if she remembers him, but he was asking in terms of other stuff because he was probably had like this tiny little hope in his mind that somehow him succeeding would mean that she would remember anything.
Yeah. Cry! That'll never be the case.
I will say it's rather interesting seeing Subaru like this a bit as well, because there's a lot of this at the beginning of Arc 5 too, so there's definitely a lot. This is what Subaru is like. But it seems to me a lot of this is like the sort of posturing part of Subaru, where he's just trying to be as jolly as possible to make everyone happy, rather than him seeming genuinely happy a lot of times. I don't know if you guys get that impression too.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
There is so much going on in his head right now, and he's not revealing a bit of it, because he can't really, but...
Because in both instances, he's just covering up the immense feelings he's having. I won't spoil like what he's sad about in Arc 5 or here necessarily, but he does have those masks for those reasons.
And one thing I really enjoy about this arc is that we get to see those break down a bit more. Because in Arc 1, he doesn't really have anyone to confide in, so he can't really break down those walls. So it's one aspect I really enjoy about this arc is seeing a bit more of the like emotional depth of Subaru, not death.
He has real depth for that.
Ayo.
If I'm not mistaken, Arc 3 we actually get an extra death than we do in the light novels or anime.
Yes, I think we do actually. I remember that.
Everyone's hype.
The only reason I know it exists is because I think we did a small amount of it as like a teaser for way back. This was like way at the beginning. Yeah, we did like all of the deaths through the trial thing.
Yeah.
We won't say more, but yeah, this is one of the ones that popped up, and I was like, wait, this isn't from a light novel. I was like, oh, this is exclusive to the web novel.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
More suffering. Woo!
Sufferoo.
Bug.
And more Beatrice. There's the good parts to that too.
Yay!
Oh my god.
Also, Vivi, great job with Puck again today.
Thanks.
I loved your old man impression at the end.
It was glorious.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
glad.
See, Puck good parent when Puck is Vivi.
Yo.
Vivi, don't go and buy cigarettes. Come back. Come back.
I might. We'll see.
No!
Just say no to smoking.
Say no to crack.
What?
Huh?
I don't know. Sorry.
Drugs are bad, kids.
Don't just go, I don't know. You said it.
I did say it.
And it has been revealed that all of this was
Mean
actually
it,
an
just
ad
said it.
to stop people having drugs.
Yay! That's right, kids. Studio Reverie promotes no drugs. None at all.
Exactly.
Good job.
Apart from Boko fruits, those things are good.
Oh, yes, reminded me. Yes.
My dad knew that thing. Oh, God.
But we do support underage drinking.
No, we
What?
do not.
No, we do
No.
not. Who said that?
When Subaru got drunk with Rom.
He's legal in this world.
Yeah, he's legal in this world, but you need to be legal in your areas. Oh, your poor Minion.
Don't do kids drugs.
What?
Hold up.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
our,
it's not going to work for you.
I think our mission statement has fallen off course.
And with that, folks, I think we're wrapping up for the day before we really demonetize ourselves further. There's no one to blame except ourselves now.
Nope.
Thank you so much, chat, for hanging out with us.
Thank you all.
This has been
Blake.
wonderful. Thank you all for stopping by.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Don't do drugs.